And it's so sad to look back on pictures and seeing him of around that time, because you see him happy in what seemed like it was happy, but I mean, he was fighting an internal battle inside that unfortunately cost him his life.
That's our very own Stephanie Goetz sharing about the loss of her brother Cam due to suicide. Well, this Saturday is International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day, and Stephanie joins us tonight to share some of her story and all about some of the amazing things that her foundation is doing right here in our community to improve mental wellness. Steph, thanks so much for being here and
thanks for
sharing
having
this
me on,
story.
Chris.
Obviously very emotional. I'm assuming this day always kind of has some special meaning to you. So I'd love to have just share some of your story, because I don't know how many people know about what you've been through, and then also how you utilize such a tragic loss to really inspire your foundation.
Yeah, well, thanks, Chris. You know, it's not something that you want anyone to have to go through, is to have someone lose anybody to suicide, or anyone in that matter. But, you know, Cam was this kid who was just vibrant, popular. Every girl wanted to date him. Every guy wanted to be him. And he really was a very good student. He was a straight A student, played basketball, ran track, was a star athlete in tennis. And it was the kid that you did not think was struggling at all. Now, this was back in 2002 when he lost his battle with depression and when he took his life. And it was, even over this amount of time, there's so much in our community and the areas that we have done to help erase the stigma, that people talk about it now better. But back then, people weren't talking about it. And it was this silent, do not talk about depression or anxiety. That people saw it as so weak, and we're doing better, but there's still a long ways to go. So back when Cam was struggling, he wouldn't tell his friends. He only told me, my mom, my dad, and his psychologist. That was it. I mean, think about that. If you're struggling with something, the most important thing is to have community of people around you to help you. And he wasn't even allowing that help to come in. So after he passed away, this was actually 5 years after we had lost our other brother, Brandon, in a car accident. And we know that that probably facilitated a lot of his suffering, was losing his best friend, his brother, Brandon. And he was not able to get out of that. But the reason why, about 10 years later, that I ended up starting the Goetz Mental Wellness Initiative was because I saw that there's a lot of people struggling out there, and there's not a lot that people are doing about it as much as other causes, but it's such a huge issue. And I saw that early intervention and prevention is the only way that we're really going to get to the heart of this. So heart disease and breast cancer and other kinds of cancers, right? We've nipped them in the bud a lot because people now know the signs and symptoms of heart disease. They know the signs and symptoms or how to check for breast cancer. We want everyone in the entire world and the community to be able to know how to be mentally well and know how to be able to take those steps to be mentally healthy.
The thing that I'm listening to your story and that honestly kind of freaks me out of my heart a little bit is it sounds like your brother was this happy-go-lucky guy. You would have never guessed that he was going to take his own life, and yet, so I guess one thing is, talk to people about, hey, are there certain things that, you know, you've done a lot of research on this now, certain signs that people should be looking for. And I want to share that in the context that you told me earlier today, in Fargo in 2013, 10% of our young kids, this is stunning to me, so if you can speak to this, 10% of our young kids attempted, not just thought about it, attempted suicide.
Actually attempted suicide. The Youth Risk Behavior Survey is done every 2 years in North Dakota, and it's a survey that goes out to kids that basically says, what risky behavior are you involved in? And as we can see the stats here, 23.8% of kids felt so sad and hopeless for 2 weeks they dropped out of their favorite thing. That is a very clear sign that something is wrong. When you start to have that kind of I don't care attitude anymore, that's not someone who's mentally healthy and mentally well. And then 10% of kids, roughly like 350 to 400 kids in Fargo, in the area, actually attempted suicide.
That is stunning.
And it is incredible. Now, it's very, very sad, but what we're finding with the Goetz Mental Wellness Initiative and Imagine Thriving, the Imagine Thriving piece is so important to us because it's the action campaign, the education, the awareness and understanding of how do you be mentally well? How do we see the signs and symptoms of someone with depression and anxiety and suicide, of course, but we want to try to get it before then. It's things like with depression and anxiety, it might be someone who lashes out a lot. It might be somebody who's actually very closed and we think there's something wrong with them. No, they're just physically, they can't even think any other sort of
So
way.
here's what I'd have you speak to, because you brought this up early, and I think you hit the nail on the head. This is not an easy thing to talk about. There's been research where doctors didn't even want to ask, hey, have you been suicidal in the past? Because maybe I'm going to plant bad ideas in this person's mind. So if you see any tendencies, what is your foundation doing, obviously, to nip this thing in the bud early and help out?
Well, what we're doing is getting in the schools early. So what we have is called a student wellness facilitator in the schools, 2 in Fargo, 1 in Moorhead, and 1 that helps in West Fargo. It's a mental health professional, a licensed clinical social worker or the like, that identifies a kid who's struggling and gets them the care they need. So right now we have about 94 or 95 kids that are getting care right now. We've helped more than 200. No kid that we have been connected with has not been able to go to an appointment because of financial needs, because we also help with that too. But what we're finding is that these kids, we identify the kids that are struggling, and then we help their parents navigate the system, because it's very, very, very hard to navigate it. And then we find that the parents, many of them need help as well. And so we're starting to break the ice and help these people. And the biggest thing that we're doing is with what's called Imagine Thriving. We have a student board made up of kids from Fargo, West Fargo, and Moorhead that go out and kind of, evangelize for mental wellness. So, if we want to pull up the graphic quick, it's the steps to thriving. And what it is they teach people in the community about how to be mentally well. Follow a sleep schedule, eat, move, get exercise, breathing regularly, thinking, seeking help, and those sorts of things. And all of these tools, if they would have been in place when my brother was struggling, he would have had a better understanding of how to be mentally well. We all know how, as a parent, you know when your child has the flu, you know how to take their temperature, you know how to get them to the doctor. We need to do these exact same things with understanding what depression and anxiety looks like in our kids as well, and not be afraid and say, hey, this is okay to talk about this. It's a physical illness just like everything else.
Keep up the great work.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. If you want to find out more, imaginethriving.org.
Absolutely.
Imaginethriving.org. See you this week. Come back. Fargo City Commissioner Tony Garrick's going to join us. We're going to take a look at the Link FM bus rideshare. Has it been a success or not? I think you're going to be shocked at the stats.